Tonight on Joynews Prime, police in Tamale arrest 2 Electoral Commission officers for allegedly crossing over from their designated posts in the Savannah region to register 12 individuals in their private homes in Tamale. Also on the raging AIRBUS scandal and Interpol red alert for the arrest of Mahama, brother to NDC flag bearer Ningo Pram MP, says the special prosecutor is a petty, bitter old man who is pursuing a hatred-driven agenda against the NDC.
If Mr. Amidu is not a petty, bitter old man, how do you go and seek an arrest warrant for an individual who you have not invited to aid in your investigation?
But Majority Whip in Parliament Matthew Nyindam disagrees, insisting the law is only taking rightful course.
The scandal has been out there for almost 2-3 months now. People have been asking him, what is your involvement in this AIRBUS scandal? Just come and tell us that, look, I'm not involved. The government official one, I'm not the one. It's misleading. That is it, and we'll just speak on that. But for now, he's been quiet.
In this bulletin, Minority Leader Haruna Idrisu alleges secret recruitment into the security agencies ahead of the 2020 elections.
The attention of the minority have been drawn to secret and clandestine recruitment into the Ghana Armed Forces, the Ghana Police Service, and the Ghana Immigration Service.
We'll hear from the Interior Minister and in business government in talks with pharmaceutical firms and suppliers to settle NHIS debt through a bond issue.
To plug the arrears that it owes to the facilities is to probably look at the option of using a bond to raise a bond, to fix the problem.
And later in this bulletin, lack of good play fields compel children in the Ashanti region town of Esuofua to play on the community's biggest refuse dam for leisure and adventure.
Box. Fire service car.
We're live from our studios in Kokomlemle in Accra on digital address GA0992539, on GoTV channel 144, on DSTV channel 421, and on your digital terrestrial TV, because we're free to air. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. On your election headquarters, the police have arrested 2 Electoral Commission officers in Tamale in the northern region for allegedly crossing over from their designated post in the Salaga North constituency in the Savannah region to a suburb of Tamale to register 12 individuals in their private homes. The 2 suspects, Yusuf Abila Muhammad and the second suspect, Muhammad Yushao, had in their possession biometric voter registration machines. Meanwhile, the commission in Savannah region has admitted knowledge of the 2 officers to be their recruits from the region.
Also, when I went to work, when I had a call from the regional crime officer of the northern region that they've arrested a data entry clerk with one of our machines. And the person is supposed to belong to the Northeast Gunja district of the Savannah region. And that he wanted to inquire as to whether the machines really belong to the Savannah region, and as to whether the person arrested is part of our officials. I had to direct the regional crime officer for the northern region to my district officer. In fact, I've asked my district officer to see him, so that he can be able to tell whether the official arrested and the kids that they said has been in his possession really belong to us, and that's been confirmed. Or the criteria for the recruitment of officials are determined by the Electoral Commission, and that is what we go by. In the course of our recruitment, much as we investigate or try to know the background of people to ensure that we have take people who are politically neutral. That is what we do. We try as much as possible. So we didn't go out to engage people with the mind of engaging people from any party, neither NDC nor NPP, for anybody to want to accuse the Electoral Commission of having gone for a particular people who are supposed to belong to any party. There was nothing like that.
The National Democratic Congress's Savannah Regional Communication Officer has been addressing the media in Salaga on the issue.
Undertaking registration in the Tamale South constituency. Upon investigations, it was revealed that this was a machine that was said to have been broken down yesterday, was meant to be carried to Damango constituency, that's the regional capital, for maintenance, and be brought back into the Savannah region to continue in its registration process. Lo and behold, the machine found itself in the Salaga, in the Tamale South constituency, registering MPP persons. And these Electoral Commission officers, in our last press conference, we stated that more than 90% of the Electoral Commission staff brought into the Savannah region for registration purposes were MPP people registered for the party, for the government's conduct. And so we are saying, and we are repeating this point, that this guy will be used as a scapegoat. This so-called Electoral Commission officer, who is a card-bearing member of the MPP, will be used as a scapegoat in this matter. And next time, very active, insulting NDC people everywhere. We are daring the state protocol and state security agencies. This is not a matter for you to tell us tomorrow that there was an order from above or an order from anywhere. We will not take that. We are sending the caution that Operation Protect Your Polling Station is on course. Everybody should take charge of his or her polling station. And anybody who will be caught, anybody who will be caught anywhere in the region or any part of the country will be dealt with severely the next time before even brought to the law.
The NPP Secretary of the Savannah region, Haruna Idrisu, has also been responding to allegations from the NDC. Our attention to Parliament, where Ningo Prampram MP Samuel George says the special prosecutor is a petty, bitter old man who is pursuing a hatred-driven agenda against the NDC ahead of the 2020 elections. He says Martin Amidu's decision to seek an Interpol red notice for Samuel Mahama, who is brother of NDC flag bearer John Mahama, is politically motivated. He is accusing government of trying to take the shine off the enthusiasm that has greeted the nomination of Professor Jenano Pokwajaman as running mate.
You realize that Mr. Martin Amidu has just gotten a new battery to go and misbehave. What he's doing is it just shows you that not all gray hair comes with wisdom. Because at the end of the day, you have a man who has written a letter to the SFO claiming that somebody has committed some crime.
The SFO in the UK.
In the UK. And the SFO in the UK has not even as much as acknowledged to say we have received your letter, because for them that letter is weak in logic, is lacking in intelligence, and is flawed in law. The report upon which you claim that there is a crime that has been committed is clear that in relation to Ghana, AIRBUS offense was that it breached the OECD governance rules. What are the OECD governance rules? That the company, any legal entity, any company operating within the European jurisdiction can engage the services of a lobbyist, but should not pay that lobbyist in excess of 5% of the contract sum. In this instance, AIRBUS paid the intermediary, who we are told is Samuel Mahama, paid him about 6.8% of the value of the contract. So that is the offense. The offense is not that they engaged him. The offense is that they paid him more than the limit that OECD governance rules allow for. If they paid him, it was not government of Ghana who paid. It was AIRBUS that paid. And that is why AIRBUS admitted wrongdoing and paid a fine. The NPP is putting out a lot of lies. You hear them say that government of Ghana has causing financial loss to the state. The state lost money. Which money did the state lose? Again, people must remember that in 2011, when this whole conversation happened about buying of the Casa airplanes, Martin Amidu was the Attorney General who gave legal advice okaying the purchase of those aircrafts. Derek Oduro who is today Deputy Minister for Defense, was part of the parliamentary delegation that went to inspect and give parliamentary approval. So if in the unlikely event any public officer actually did benefit from a bribe, it is Martin Amidu and Derek Oduro. If Mr. Amidu is not a petty, bitter old man, how do you go and seek an arrest warrant for an individual who you have not invited to aid in your investigation? Normally, you would invite an individual to aid the investigation. When that individual fails to cooperate, that is when you seek recourse to a law court to get an arrest warrant to compel that person to cooperate. Ask Martin Amidu if he has even sent an invitation to the man. And look, you don't need to think far. This whole process started.
Deputy Majority Chief Whip in Parliament Matthew Nyindam disagrees. He says the law is only taking the rightful course and the move has nothing to do with the 2020 elections.
The scandal has been out there for almost 2-3 months now. People have been asking him, what is your involvement in this AIRBUS scandal? Just come and tell us that, look, I'm not involved. The government official one, I'm not the one. It's misleading. That is it. And we'll just speak on that. But for now, he's been quiet. You see, and there is that old saying that silence means what? Consent. For all you know, this silence doesn't mean consent. But because he's so silent, everybody is assuming that he's involved.
But he said no benefit came to him. He has publicly stated
that no benefit came to him. So that's it. If no benefit came to him, the Interpol thing about his brother is about his brother. John Mama is different from his brother. So let's see what will happen.
But is that an indication that Martin Amidu is working? At least we've seen action from his end.
Martin Amidu has always been working. It has only been working. I don't know whether it's working or it's not working. This has nothing to do with Martin.
Minority leader Haruna Idrisu is alleging secret recruitments are ongoing into the security agencies ahead of the 2020 elections. Addressing a media briefing in Parliament, he claimed police trainings are ongoing at the training school in Tesano. He says the military and the Ghana Immigration Service are also training personnel, although there was no public advertisement of the vacancies. He says notice a future NDC government will reverse the said recruitment.
The attention of the minority have been drawn to secret and clandestine recruitment into the Ghana Armed Forces, the Ghana Police Service, and the Ghana Immigration Service. In respect of one, we are told that the number is about 1,600 recruits. In respect of the Ghana Police Service, the last time the public witnessed a public advert in accordance with the Constitution and the Public Services Requirement and Regulations was in 2017. So we are asking fundamental questions. How come that for 2018, 2019, and 2020, there is no official public recruitment advertised serving notice to Ghanaian citizens to prepare themselves for recruitment into these important state institutions and agencies, the security agencies? The Ghana Armed Forces, I'm told, there is some training going on. At the police depot, there is some training going on between Tesano and Palugu in Bolgatanga. This is not an acceptable public service practice. I will accordingly be filing a question, an urgent one, to demand that. But if that is done, and that is being done as is being reported, it raises a fundamental question of effort to politicize the Ghana Armed Forces, the Ghana Police Service, and the Ghana Immigration Service, and that only young people belonging to a certain political party are deemed qualified and are being recruited for this purpose. That is an affront to the constitutional provision of non-discrimination, and that can undermine the cohesion and unity of our country.
We'll be delving into this issue more when we get the minority leader, Haruna Idrissa, who is making the allegations. Meanwhile, MP for Elembele Emmanuel Kofi-Boa says the Electoral Commission has decided to extend registration in schools by one more day to include tomorrow, which he says is illegal. He is urging the Electoral Commission to consult more with the parties on such decisions.
Director of Election just informed me, and I'm sure it's across the country. The Electoral Commission says tomorrow we are just taking the machines, we are going to the secondary schools, and we're going to do registration for Saturday. The question was asked, so after tomorrow, if you are not completed, what do you do? We don't know. I mean, the Electoral Commission is making the rules as he goes. Making the rules as he goes. No consultations, not engagement with our packs for proper planning, so that he can get the input of the political parties to even determine how many days this is required. The Electoral Commission is going in solo, make a decision, make the rules as he goes.
Joining us via phone is Haruna Idrissa, who is minority leader in Parliament. Good evening to you.
The attention of
Honorable, good to have you on Joynews Prime. You are making allegations of secret recruitment into the police service and the military and immigration. Do you have evidence to this effect?
The challenge is that as an investigative journalist, I'm part of a process to unravel what is a growing legitimate concern. I'm not just making an allegation, I'm speaking to facts that there's some secret recruitment going on and some training going on. Indeed, in some instances, particularly for the Ghana Police Service, recruits who were required to be trained for a period of 6 months to 9 months were only trained for 3 months and released to the public to fight crime. That category of inadequately trained police personnel are themselves a danger to society and a danger to crime management and crime administration, because it means that they have not acquired the requisites and rudiments of effective policing. So I'm not just alleging, find out from the Ghana police hierarchy whether or not they have not trained some recruits for 3 months who ought to have been trained for 6 to 9 months. And it is a fact that they did so in order to allow for new recruits to come in. We are in an election year. The peace, the stability, and the security of this country must be of prime concern to all of us as citizens of Ghana. It defies public service requirements for entry into the Ghana Armed Forces or the immigration or the police service to be the preserve of supporters of one political party. That is wrong, a constitutional wrong, and a legal wrong, and a public service wrong. Every Ghanaian citizen is entitled to the benefits of the 1992 Constitution, including right to full employment in those security agencies. Therefore, it is not for nothing. Ask the Ghana Police Service. Therefore, the Minister for Interior and the Minister for Defense, I'll file a motion next week on this matter if we don't get appropriate satisfactory responses. You can't do that. And we've seen uniformed men, both police and military, accompanying parliamentary candidates. The military and the police are a state institution. They are not to serve a political party. They are to serve the state, the Republic of Ghana. Therefore, whether it's an allegation or not, I'm challenging the Ghanaian media to take particular interest in it. There is ongoing training across the country, whether it's a police depot at Tesano or it's Palugu or it's Asimfosu where the immigration are. They are recruiting huge numbers to the security agencies without following due process, without advertising to the public for young, legitimate, eligible Ghanaians to get onto the security agencies. That is not acceptable.
The Interior Minister.
As answer, and for the police service, since 2017, let anybody show me a graphic or New Times publication where the police have invited applicants
for recruitment into the Ghana Police Service. And we must sit down quiet on this. You have an election year. If they ill-train and inadequately train police and use them for purpose of election, will you have a peaceful Ghana?
And I'm saying, have you brought this to the notice of the Interior Minister?
But that is what I'm bringing to public notice. It's a matter of public interest and a matter of public concern. I have reliable information, and I'm saying that let's all probe it, let's all investigate it, let's all unravel the truth.
So you'll file a motion next week in Parliament. Will it be to summon the Interior Minister, or what will your motion be about?
And the Defense Minister. But I'm saying that the Ghanaian media must take interest in this. Now, they think they can hide. They cannot. We have the statistics of those in recruitment 2018 to end of 2019. So any increase in their compensation budget will have to be explained tomorrow or someday in the foreseeable future in this country. Any additional numbers will be verified and cross-checked because we know what the standing of the military and the police were at end 2016, end 2017, and end 2018.
I'm grateful for your time. Haruna Idriso is minority.
The Minister for the IGP, they all owe the public an explanation as to what is going on.
We'll be looking forward to that motion. Honorable Haruna Idriso is minority leader in Parliament. He says he will file a motion to this effect to summon the Interior Minister and the Defense Minister to respond to Parliament on this issue. But all efforts to get the Interior Minister, Ambrose Aderi, to respond to this has proved futile. We'll still try him. The moment we get him, we'll bring you his response on this matter. Still to come in this bulletin, lack of good play fields compel children in the Ashanti region town of Esuofua to play on the community's biggest refuse dam for leisure and adventure.
Box. Oh, ball and some. Fisherman forever. Yeah, the Ashisha ambulance and your car, fire service car.
There is more when we return from this break. Welcome back to Joynews Prime. To the rest of our stories, and police in the Ashanti region are investigating proprietor of a private day second cycle school for allegedly breaching COVID-19 protocols. Krapa Ochre of Drayton Senior High School in Setre-Kumewu district will answer for congestion in classroom and dormitories. The district COVID-19 response team visited the school and found over 200 students crammed in 3 rooms, disregarding social distancing protocols. Authorities of the school have also been accused of supervising a musical event with a large gathering of students. Nanaya Ojima has been following up on the issue and has filed this report.
Local police have provisionally charged Mr. Oche with offensive misconduct and breach of COVID-19 protocols. District Chief Executive Samuel Ade Ajikum led COVID-19 response team on the inspection tour. He says the team found students share space with gas stoves and other personal belongings. Mr. Ade Ajikum also points water and hygiene facilities in the school are not enough to support adherence to all protocols.
And we went in there to see that some of the students were sleeping in cubicles where there are no doors to even protect them from even predators, if you want. So the students are left under the mercy of their own.
Genti SHS is run on the ground floor of an uncompleted story building. Part of it is used both for classrooms and residential accommodation. The proprietor says COVID-19 had compelled management to open part of the school facility to some students for free. He says many students who could not find accommodation in the community had to join their colleagues on the blind side of authorities.
As for classrooms, there are no conjections. We have 2 blocks. We already had a old site. This is a new site which is under construction. We've completed about 5% of the whole project. So we have about 12 classroom blocks at our old site, and we've taken the home economics department, the visual arts department, agric science department. So once the day school, honestly, we don't have challenges with accommodation in school. Just that those who come from afar, who do not get apartments as at the time they come, we just lodge here. So as for the lodging place, we can just close it a day. Everybody should go to town. It's a day school. We don't charge anybody fee, any hostel fee.
Mr. Oche denies allegations of supervising a musical show in breach of the ban on social gathering.
We used to have entertainment over here where our desks are parked. Because of the WASI, we've already arranged the place. The new place that is quite spacious. We just we constructed it. We worked on that on Friday morning. So there wasn't any way that we could even get a place to organize a jam over here.
A security man near the school disputes the proprietor's claims. He says some students physically attacked him when he attempted to stop them from holding the event. He had to seek care at the hospital.
I told the students to go inside because it's late. Then they started insulting me. They called me a watchman, and I responded, that's what I do. Later, some started throwing stones at me.
The district security committee has since relocated some of the students to a nearby facility. Mr. Adair Ajekum says DISEC is temporarily supporting them pending closure of the school by the Ghana Education Service.
Now, the National Inspectorate Board, I don't know whether it's now authority under Ghana Education Service, they called me and took interest in the matter. And I believe that being an accredited institution as to whether you have the permit to operate or not to operate, technically they are better placed to determine the fate of this very school.
From Kumawu in the Ashanti region for Joynews, Nana Ojima reporting.
And still to come in this bulletin, government in talks with pharmaceutical firms and suppliers to settle NHIS debt through a bond issue.
The arrears that it owes to the facilities is to probably look at the option of using a bond to raise a bond, to fix the problem.
We'll be back with more in business. Now for business, and government has begun talks with the pharmaceutical industry and suppliers of the National Health Insurance Scheme to begin the process of clearing all its debt owed through a bond issue. The Pharmacy Council has been pushing for this to reduce the debt burden on their members as a result of the insurance scheme. Ebenezer Sabute's report.
Though government has been making efforts to clear the debt, some suppliers are yet to receive their full payment. Acting Managing Director of Intravenous Infusions, Mukhtar Sulihu, disclosed that the Pharmaceutical Association of Ghana is following up on plans by government to issue a bond to clear the debt. He's been explaining to shareholders.
But we hope that as government is taking steps to address this challenge, PMAC, that is the Pharmaceutical Manufacturers Association of Ghana, has actually engage government on how to address some of the funding challenges. And I think that a number of options have been looked into. And one of the main options that government is looking at now to plug the arrears that it owes to the facilities is to probably look at the option of using a bond to raise a bond, to fix the problem. So the association is pursuing that particular agenda. And this national health insurance problem is affecting almost every company in the pharmaceutical industry in Ghana.
Board chairman of the company, Isaac Osei, is confident that the move will help the company raise funds for its expansion works.
In a bond, it means that you are giving government paper which enables you to either discount and collect cash now from a financial institution or wait and then collect it at the end of the tenure of the bond. That's what it is all about. But we haven't actually seen the structure which the government is proposing. But whatever it is, when you have that paper, you can access cash, maybe at a discount. But the point is that we all know what the inflationary rate is now in the country. It's always better to get cash now than tomorrow. So if you have a financial instrument in the form of a bond, you can always trade it and get some cash to operate your business.
The board has approved some dividend payment for shareholders after ending the year with a 14.2% increase in revenue.
$3 billion. That is how much Ghana loses annually owing to infrastructure gap in the vegetable sector. To tackle this, the Ministry of Food and Agriculture has handed refrigerated vans to vegetable dealers under the Ghana Commercial Agriculture Project to boost production.
According to Dr. Owusu Akoto, the lack of modernized equipment coupled with poor infrastructural development for the Ghana Irrigation Development Authority has led to the sector's dwindling fortunes. Using Kenya as a case in point, the Greek minister told Joy Business vegetable production could be a good source of foreign exchange.
These are people who it's been their business all their lives to produce vegetables. But if you look at the history of the assistance of government, it's been virtually nothing. And here is an untapped potential that we feel that with little push, they'll be able to deliver. And hence, these initiatives that you are taking for the peri-urban sector.
On irrigation at this structure.
The vans, which form part of packages under the Peri-Urban Vegetable Value Chain project and the GCAP, seeks to link vegetable farmers to markets as well as stabilize their prices. BB Veggies, AB Farms, HMR and G-Fresh companies are the beneficiaries of the reefer vans. The chief executive of AB Farms, Benjamin Agbesi, spoke on behalf of the beneficiaries.
Beautiful vans here are going to help the project a lot in terms of transporting the things from the farms to the warehouse and also distribute the vegetables to our retail markets. And this is not the only thing they provide for us. They also give us a cold storage in our warehouse. And also, they've expanded our warehouse in terms of safety measures and all things, everything is in place. On behalf of our company, I want to thank everybody here for the support they are giving to us.
The event featured the commissioning of a new Ghana Irrigation Development Authority office building situated at Cantonment, Accra. Chief Executive Officer of GIDA, Wilson Dankwa, said the office building would provide the needed working space to boost the sector's market offering.
As you probably might have heard during the Honorable Minister's speech, we used to be around the old passport office, the ministry's extension near the BEFs and DEFs area. But as all of you know, that place has been demarcated for the Marine Drive project. And so all the offices in that area are being relocated. And therefore, we had to relocate.
The new GIDA office was funded by the World Bank through the Japanese government. Bismarck Awuse's report for Joy Business.
Let's now take a summary of some local business stories you may have missed.
The Institute of Energy Security, IES, has said consumers of electricity will be paying more for power in the coming years if government fails to divert its capital into renewable energy sources. According to IES, reports have shown that energy sources are rapidly becoming cheaper than fossil fuel-powered plants. The steel industry in Ghana is set to receive further boost with the addition of 240,000 metric tons to the current installed production capacity of about 1 million metric tons. The additional capacity will come from the construction of a steel manufacturing plant in Kumasi, funded through a loan facility of $12 million from the International Finance Corporation (IFC) to Ryder Iron and Steel Ghana Limited. This follows an $80 million investment made in the industry last year by B5+. The Vehicle and Asset Dealers Union of Ghana, VADUC, has called on government to review the Customs Amendments Bill 2020 Act 891, which bans the importation of second-hand cars of more than 10 years old and salvage cars, locally referred to as accident cars. According to them, the full implementation of the new law will lead to a collapse of their businesses and cause massive loss of jobs.
And that wraps up the first segment of business. We'll be back at 8:30 with more.
My name is Hans Mensando, and this is Sports on Joynews Prime. The Ghana Football Association has announced that the 2020-2021 league season will commence in the second week of October 2020. This tentative period is subject to approval from the government of Ghana. There is more in the following report.
2020 football season, which was almost halfway through, was cancelled on June 30 due to government extension on restrictions relating to contact sport. The Ghana Football Association Executive Council had initially decided that they were going to hold on until such a time it was conducive enough for them to return football to the people safely. However, after the president's announcement that restrictions relating to events that deals with contact would be reviewed on July 30, the Executive Council on July 14 decided that the next Ghana Premier League season could start in October depending on government's advice. The GFA said they will continue to work with government, the Ministry of Youth and Sports, the National Sports Authority, and the Ghana Health Service, the GFA Medical Committee, clubs, and all relevant stakeholders to bring football back in the safest way for all participants. The Football Association also said they are discussing the possibility of changing the format of the leagues for the new season may be designed differently to ensure completion, and one of the scenarios being considered is playing behind closed doors at carefully selected game centers. The Minister of Youth and Sports, Isaac Esiama, last month revealed that playing matches behind closed doors could cost the National Sports Authority 60,000 Ghana cedis per match. The GFA president, Kurt Okraku, had said that football was not allowed to resume due to lack of money.
I think that there's quite a number of challenging areas, so to say. Obviously, it all comes down to money, because if you want to embark on an elaborate educational campaign, it's money. If you have to get access to the PPEs, it's money, okay? Of course, clubs will have to play or may have to play behind closed doors. It means money will be lost. The National Sports Authority will have to prepare the facilities for us, because some of the clubs use their facilities. There's a question about money, etc., etc. So it is money. Money plays a big part. That's the gospel truth. The sports economy or the football economy is very small. It's not very, very robust. And therefore, it's a challenging period where we have to really, really think outside the box, be very fair in our thinking process, and ensure that the best decision is taken for Ghana.
It is unclear if matches are played behind closed doors, football clubs are going to bear the cost, or it will be shared with the National Sports Authority. The next football season is expected to start in the second week of October.
And that's it for the first part of sports here on Joynews Prime. I'll be back with more. Over to you, Aisha.
I think it will be a new experience.
Watching on Joy Prime. Joy News continues on Joy News. Welcome back to Joy News Prime. Now, the Electoral Commission has again refuted claims that it is using old biometric voter registration machines for the ongoing registration exercise. Dr. Bosman Asari, Deputy Chairman for Corporate Services of the EC, in a briefing said it's pure fabrication to speculate that the BVRs were not new when no one tried to authenticate such a misleading information with the Commission.
To still clear the air on this, the Commission acquired from Talis DIS 80,000 biometric voter registration kits and another 530 as spares. So in total, 8,530 biometric voter registration kits. As we sit here now, over 90% of the kits are being used for the registration at our registration centers, our district offices, and the rest are being kept as backup in the various districts. In as much as scrutinizing the work of the commission is important, we as a commission we appreciate because it's accountability institution. People should be able to scrutinize, examine the work we do. We urge all Ghanaians, including civil society organizations, to do so with a high level of professionalism and conduct. But you can't just sit anywhere and assume that we are not doing the right thing. You need to investigate and make sure you have the accurate information. Any questions about the Electoral Commission using old BVR kits in this registration exercise is overly pedestrian. And it clearly shows that those making allegations either do not know the difference between the old and the new kits or are simply being mischievous. One distinguishing feature of the BVR kits is that the scanners are either green bricks or Kojak. The current registration we are doing, the scanners are either green bricks or Kojak, and these are the scanners we are using. The computers are of different brands, and the batteries are completely different. The current laptops are Dell, while the former BVRs were HP. So these are completely different kits. So I even have pictures of the kits for everyone to see. The old kits, the batteries are removable. This one, the batteries are embedded. So you can see pictures of the new kits. They are so different from the old one. So the commission finds it very, very strange that people will still make those allegations. The commission is challenging anyone who has evidence it is using any of the old kits in this registration to show us the sentence. Since those who are making the allegation, they are saying the sentence are about 40%. That means currently in Greater Accra, nationally we are operating in 6,000, no, plus the district office is almost 6,900 centers. And 40% should be about almost 3,000, or let's say 2,500. So that means these are things we can easily identify. So those who are saying that the commission is using some of the old cases should give us the sentence and we'll go there and remove those cases. We are presently registering in almost 7,000 centers, and the kits are the newly procured ones. And when you look at it, the kits have been distributed equally in all the regions based on the population or the number of centers in the regions.
Bryce Simmons is Vice President in charge of research at IMANI and President of Pedigree. He joins us via Zoom for more on this. Good evening, Bryce. What's the basis for the claim that the EC is using old equipment?
Let me clarify the exact point that we made. We said that the EC is using some of the BVRs that it is claimed are obsolete in this registration. Now, it's important that we understand the origin of this whole controversy. The EC mounted a public campaign claiming that since 2011, it has not upgraded or purchased new equipment. That is how this whole controversy between civil society and the EC emanated. We then said that based on information that the EC itself had submitted to Parliament, based on audited records that the Auditor General has made available for everybody to go and check, the EC was being completely dishonest, and that equipment have been bought and continue to be bought. And as late as 2019, they were still taking delivery of equipment. And in fact, in 2018, according to parliamentary records, according to records that the Finance Ministry has, the EC had bought about 2,000 of these BVRs. So the question was, where are these BVRs? Almost brand new BVRs. So when the registration started, those of us that are interested in this matter, the EC, don't forget, the EC has refused to engage on these matters throughout the campaign. Now, scouts made up of freelance journalists then went to some of the stations, particularly in 3 major areas in Accra, in Santa Maria, in Kwashiman, and in Koliklote. And they found evidence of some of the HP laptops being used in the registration process. They took video footage of this and they sent them to us. And we published the video evidence. And that video evidence is still available online. I believe Joy FM has published some of that video evidence. Now, if the Electoral Commission says that none of these laptops found their way into the registration centers, can only mean one of three things. One, they don't have control over their own logistics, and therefore somehow people without authorization have put some of these out. Two, they've found that their cover has been blown, and they have rapidly mounted a cover-up scheme. Or three, we have a situation where the EC, despite having done all of this, is just adamant, as it's been all along, to refuse to confront evidence of its own conduct and in some cases misconduct.
You have
but the key point, yes, go ahead.
No, make your point.
But the key issue that you need to make sure that the EC does not get away with answering is what happened to the BVRs, 2,000 of them bought in 2018, an extra 150 or so that, according to a very prominent journalist, was delivered in 2019. Where are they? Why is the EC not able to get its basic statistical calculations right? Because it argues that it's using 90% of 8,500 devices. And yet we know for a fact that they're only operating about 6,788 centers. If they were using 90% of those devices, they'll be operating in a minimum of 7,500 stations. But at the very least, we've seen congestion across the country. If the EC indeed did not have a diabolic agenda, why would they not increase the number of laptops that are available for this, using some of the 2,000 laptops that they bought, some of the 2,000 laptops that they bought in 2018 and in 2019? It's a very simple question that you need to ask the EC. We need to have more centers operating. They claim they have 8,500 equipment. They're using 90% of them. They've got 2,000 brand new ones that they bought in 2018 and a couple of others they bought in 2019. Why are they not deploying them? The question has not been asked properly of them. And that is why they are able now to come out and boldly tell us that, oh, we bought 5,500 new ones and thrown the other ones away. And we're actually challenging people to show us that we are using some of those old equipment.
But you have seen, you've seen the statement from the Electoral Commission. They insist they have procured new equipment, and for that matter, those are the equipments they're using. Have you seen that statement?
Nobody disputes that they've bought new equipment. We've been running a campaign against them buying new equipment. And they've spent, what, $70 million or so buying equipment. So nobody disputes that. We are saying, though, that some of that equipment that they claim are obsolete are in use. And that stems from claims we've made consistently. We've argued that in 2018, they bought thousands of equipment, that in 2016, they spent almost $60 million refurbishing the equipment and buying new ones. And if you add all of that together, there is evidence, therefore, that you have brand new equipment that could be used. That has been our position all along. Our statements in recent times were of three dimensions. One was that we have evidence that those laptops could be used, and they have been used. And therefore, it just simply reinforces the points we've been making all along. That number two, the cameras that you are seeing are standard cameras, no different from the ones that they had in the HSB Genki system. And therefore, the images they are going to take are not dramatically different. They are going to be ICAO or ICAO 9303 compliant or CBEFF compliant, just like the one that they used the previous system to gather. And therefore, the only change will have to be an activation of the facial recognition module in the software. That process could have been done with the existing system. So they didn't need to spend any money to buy new BVRs in order to be able to deploy facial recognition technology. And they have confirmed that. They've confirmed that the digital cameras that they have are the normal digital cameras, and you can see them on the screen now. Those digital cameras are not any different from the ones that we've had before because they are not 3D, for instance. They are standard digital cameras. So what was the point of saying that in order to deploy facial recognition technology, you need to buy new BVRs? That was completely reckless. So it does not make... Yes, go ahead, please.
Make your point, Mr. Simons.
So it does not make any sense for the EC now to purport to have something new to share or to be debunking evidence, because that's not what they're doing. They don't even understand the claims they're making. So let me repeat the claims. There were three claims that we made recently. One was that when they say that the congestion in the registration centers were as a result of individual citizen misconduct, they were lying because the videos that we showed proved that the design of the centers were such that you couldn't enforce social distancing in those centers. So the crowding and what have you were all by design. The way that those centers were set up were such that you will have congestion. That was number one. Number two, they claimed that because they needed facial recognition technology, they needed to throw away thousands of laptops. Remember that? Thousands of laptops and devices costing the country about $100 million in the last decade had to be thrown away because the new ones that they needed to deploy are the only ones that can do facial recognition technology. Now, they are telling us that what they are using is standard cameras, taking standard visual images. And we are saying that those visual images that exist today are of a standard, because we've checked with HSB and Genki, who are the original people that developed those technologies that were used to take the initial visual data. They can be used for facial recognition. So you don't need to throw away the laptops, buy a new one, add a new camera, because the new cameras that you've added have no specialized features. They're just ordinary digital cameras. And therefore, it makes no sense to have done what they did. That was the second point, which they have not responded to. The third point, in reinforcement of our argument, that if you bought laptops in 2018 and 2019, you cannot throw them away, buy a whole new set, and claim then that you are having difficulties with congestion. You should be using the laptops. But if you are using the laptops, then it debunks your argument that all those laptops date from 2011. So the question you should be asking them is very simple. Do we have laptops that date from 2018 and 2019? Are they therefore new and in serviceable condition? Why are they not being used?
So what's
and if we claim that we've seen those, yes, go ahead.
What's the next step of your advocacy?
No, our advocacy is building up towards getting the Auditor General to conduct an extensive asset audit. We've written repeatedly to different bodies, including the Auditor General, asking for this audit. Why do we need this audit? This Electoral Commission, and remember, we're not talking of the Electoral Commission as specific individuals there. We're talking about the Electoral Commission as an institution that has been there for years. It has never successfully passed an asset audit. An asset audit simply means you go there, you inspect their equipment, you inspect other things that they bought to see, are they in the right conditions, where are they? We don't even know how they dispose of the equipment that they frequently tell us have to be thrown away for new ones to be bought. Nobody has a clue. They have never accounted for the equipment that they've consistently told us have to be replaced. We don't know whether they auction them, whether they carry them and put them somewhere else, or whether they distribute them to people that have absolutely no authority to receive them. We don't know. So we need an asset audit. And we are arguing that two things. The equipment that they bought in 2018, a lot of those that they refurbished and bought in 2016, and those that they received in 2019 are useful laptops. They are brand new, and they should be using them. Lastly, we've seen some of them in use, which reinforces the point we're making that they are in viable condition and they should be used. None of the things that you've said today respond to any of these very important claims. And we expect the media to hold them, their feet in particular, to fire, because they're not answering the questions.
I'm grateful for your time. Bright Simons is Vice President of IMANI Africa. And let's get down to other stories. And some NDC members in Menchia North constituency in Kumasi are raising concerns about what they see as overlapping centers in the ongoing voters registration exercise. They say some centers known in the past to be in Tafo-Pankrono constituency have now been cited in Menchia North. NDC parliamentary aspirant Hamza Swala is worried constituents who are unaware of the changes may end up registering in wrong constituencies. He wants swift action from the Electoral Commission to address the challenge. Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin has more.
All new polling stations were created, and for that matter, they have to start working on the day of registration. So my people, or the people in Moshizongo, most of them trooped to Africa's BRIBERY Center, which is named, officially gazetted in the books of EC, that place is a polling station for Moshiz in Menchia North.
Mr. Swala says though the EC has promised to resolve the issue, information available suggests otherwise.
We had call from other people that the people of Tafo constituency are claiming that Africus belongs to Tafo constituency better, rather not Menchia North constituency. It's something that we don't get it clear. So we came there and we saw that there are 3 polling stations in a row. Polling station 1, which is the Africus polling station, is from Moshizongo. And after that, there is Ibadia, That one is a polling station created for Tafu constituency. And in that same premises, there's another polling station called Unity International. That one too is for Mentionov constituency. You know, so it's 3 polling stations. First one is for Mentionov constituency, second one is for Tafu constituency, and the third one too is for Mentionov constituency. So we had issues on that. We called on the EC boss that's opening. We talked to him and he said he will resolve it. That's fine with us. So everything went off yesterday. Today we had a call again from the ARU telling us that his boss has told him not to start work here, but that he should move to Unity International to start working. The gazetted name, Africus Barbering Center, which is captured in the book of EC, that place will be given to the people of Tafu constituency. But brother, looking at this thing, it's not done anywhere. The people in this area are all crying out that it cannot be done, and they cannot just take it just like that.
The NDC parliamentary aspirant says he has had to calm nerves of agitated youth to allow the law to take its course.
Most people were here this morning fighting and crying out to the good people. You know, yesterday we started late with the same issue. The EC boss of Tafu came here telling us that we should move to that end, whilst they will bring the polling station of Tafu to Africus. Meanwhile, Africus is here in Moshizongo. It cannot be given to Tafu. So with that, we see it to be something difficult for us to handle.
Some other residents expressed their sentiments.
They've gazetted a new polling station called Badria JHS polling station. That instead of they giving to Mensha in addition, they gave it to Tafu constituency instead, and it overlapped. If you can see, this is Africus and the Badria is far at the far end. So how can this place be Kumase and the other end be Tafu? It clearly there was an omission or an error somewhere. So I personally alerted the electoral supervisor here somewhere last week, and he told me they would work on it. He was in consultation with the supervisor for the other municipal, which is Tafu, so they will rectify it. Only to be told yesterday that they couldn't rectify the situation, and as such, they are giving this portion of land we are standing on now to Tafu constituency. And so they are moving this Africus polling station to the other end, closer to Unity International, Unity polling station. So I said, no, this is raising an alarm. What I knew was that the boundaries for the constituency was not touched. The boundaries of every constituency still remained at where it is. So why was it that ours was being touched? This place has been Mentionov since Mentionov was created.
A report by Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin.
And back here in Accra, Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta says the coronavirus and its restrictions on travels and meetings has helped the government save more than 200 million Ghana cedis on seminars and travel expenses. Speaking on PM Express last night, he said the estimated budget for government travels and seminars was 330 million Ghana cedis, but only 93 million has been used due to COVID-19 restrictions.
We have been working on Zoom, and it's incredible the amount of work we can do. We've cut down, maybe if you look at our budget for travel and seminars and whatever, of some 93 to 43, maybe it was about 200 or maybe $330 million CDs. I think we've spent about 93 million. Anyhow, we have about 140 million CDs left, of which we are not going to use much. So you begin to see what type of savings you have if we were to digitize the economy so that we can do much more together and also get our educational system going.
Interesting. Does it mean that from this personal experience, Honorable, you're going to change the strategy in terms of us fast-tracking all the programs to as moving towards a digitalized economy? Look at the savings that we are making already from your end.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, George. I mean, I think this is just front and center to us. And if you begin to look at also these 1.2 million, Akufo-Addo graduates coming out of senior high school, what I can say is not everybody that's going to get into university. So I'm sure we need to begin to think of online systems which would ensure that there is, lifelong education, easily accessible and cheaper. I think some of our kids who were in school in America are now back home and going to be doing next year online from Ghana. So you begin to realize that, well, and a lot more people living in Ghana could get online education in some of the best schools in the world. And so we need to begin to think about that, and even how our local universities, structure the pedagogy that is going to emerge. So that's the exciting part, the realization of how powerful digitalization can be, and we're going to put a lot of money into that.
And in the Ashanti region, children in the town of Esuofua are at risk of contracting diarrhea and other diseases as they turn to the community's biggest refuse dump for leisure and adventure. On a daily basis, many of them invade the site of about the size of 2 football pitches, which has not been cleared for over 20 years. Residents who live close to the dump site say they have had to contend with unbearable stench over the period. Ohementeria of our health desk visited the community and has more in the following report.
It is exactly 1:33 p.m. on Thursday. 3 boys, all under 8, are busily driving a metal screw into an empty pack of paper packaged drink. Nana Puachi, Atapenin and Kofi Akowua have in their possession assorted used containers. They use them to exhibit their talent and craft by molding them into dummy tipper trucks, ambulance, and fire tenders. The worrying aspect is that they scavenge these materials with their bare hands. In less than 5 minutes, the boys had produced a prototype which has lid of cans as wheels. Nana Buachi leads the team.
Box. Ambulance, and car, fire service car. With me,
the 3 children are not alone in this refuse dump business, as many others come here every day to engage on activity or the other. The refuse, which is over 20 years, serves residents of a cluster of communities like Emisari, Suminya, Angama, Asamai, and Old Town. This woman and other residents cannot stay outside.
I want sleep to be a drama swim.
The area who cry say, Opesia, no more as so jagum. If you know when you men won't tell they want to be beyond the baller, and once not dear. You know, Muna, you know, Muna did.
I know, Mombi, I want for John Manai. Let's just say a day can't Bahasi. It is a baller, I see dear, yes, ramping for say, or Mershana Muntu, MIA.
Achumanga Biajan North District Chief Executive Rebecca Yabua says steps are already underway to evacuate the refuse dump. She promises to ensure it is done within 2 months from now, indicating collaboration with waste management firm Zimlion.
Bola no adaho about 12 years in a Jumakesi assembly, the new Zimlion some contract be into nano. I have documentation. 2 months ago, anyway, Zimlion Baba is a Sabola no Koa. Okoko for the Jaso, they say he besides also intending them 2 major issues are assembly no FAC, CCA. Madame Commission says he ball and if you are the moment a baller who could to pet not Sa London. I am for forming a tremanson, and then my 5 days so now must send me cool man for say a refuse site. Now me bunny to Bolana. You the bucket, Baba Bisiho. Sebaya, your ball and never didn't have me a good bucket in him. Na a yama, Nakanaba Betray.
From Esuofua for Joynews, Ohementeria reporting.
And NEC Energy Ghana Limited will soon sell power from its wind farms to West African neighbors. Details in the second part of business. Time for the second part of business. And NEC Energy Ghana Limited will sell power from its wind farms to West African neighbors as work begins on its 200-megawatt farm in 2022. The company in the last few years has sought to develop wind farms to produce cheap, clean and sustainable energy for the country. But since 2017, its 225-megawatt Ayetapa wind farm is yet to commence operation due to delays at the Energy Ministry. Officials of the company disclosed this on a media tour to allocated sites for the project in the Ningo Prampram district. There's more in the following report.
NEC, with its partners Upwind International AG, are to develop and construct 5 wind farms with total capacity of 1,000 megawatt. Completion of the project will make Ghana the largest hub in West Africa for clean and low-price renewable energy. 225 megawatt Ayetapa wind farm with investment volume around $450 million has received the necessary permits and licenses. However, government's prior commitment to independent power producers has placed moratorium on further renewable energy. NEC Ghana estimates about 600 persons would be engaged during the construction stage, aside a financial commitment in areas of operation. Project Management Officer at NEC Ghana, Jasmine Kapia, says they are now focusing on ECOWAS market over delays in Ghana.
Yeah, environmental impact assessments have been conducted. It's actually safe for even farmers to farm within a certain diameter. The land is still owned by the local stakeholders. We initiated a 30-year land lease agreement, so NEK does not own the land or the rights to the land. And also the local communities benefit in terms of employment opportunities, and about $0.5 million annually is set in the private fund for the agricultural and the development of the community as well. So it's safe and sustainable and clean. ECOWAS has a renewable energy target mix, and this is in line with ECOWAS's renewable energy mix. And also we are offering competitive prices, affordable prices. So this is in line with ECOWAS renewable energy targets, and also in the best interests of the stakeholders like the off-takers, as they will provide cheap and affordable and clean electricity.
Executive Director of Institute for Energy Security, Nana Amwesi VII, is unhappy over Ghana's attitude towards renewable energy.
All these documents, most of the time, gather dust. They don't end up delivering the results. What we call for is action, commitment from government and policymakers. You can look at the various manifestos. You can even go into the budgets of the country. They mention renewables, yet we fail to take it up. One cannot understand what is the challenge. We don't want to speculate. It's important that government make do its words. It is also going to bring about jobs creation. We will have the opportunity to also have an experience with new technologies that come with this. Today, when you generate electricity with renewables, you can proceed further to use the same electricity to get fuel from water.
Meanwhile, Ningo Prampram District Chief Executive Jonathan Doku says NEC Ghana has the approval to operate in the area.
As a district assembly, all the necessary permits that we're supposed to give, we have done our part. And we have been working closely with them, expecting that construction should begin. They made mention of some few challenges with, I think, the Ministry of Energy. We tried to intervene on, but I think that one is at that level. So as a district, and myself being the district chief executive, whatever we're supposed to do, we have done. All the construction licenses that the assembly is supposed to give out, I think we've done that. And we are only waiting for the companies, that is NEK and Upwind, to actually hit the ground and start the construction.
However, the Energy Ministry is yet to give the green light. Kwame Yanka's report for Joy Business.
Customers' association with banks is largely driven by loyalty and not customer service. That is the outcome of a survey conducted by consumer insights consulting firm Indago. Darryl Kwao has been speaking to the CEO of Indago, Gordon Grant Biako, on the outcome of the survey.
We have to bear in mind that our banking industry has actually gone through a bit of a turbulence. Whilst the challenges are coming to an end, the customers' experiences and the customers' expectations are not yet over. So, though I am not that satisfied, I don't want to change because where I am, I think they are okay. I'm assured that I'll always get my funds as and when I'll get it. Why should I go and try someone else? Our expectations are that once the turbulence is fully over, then we expect that customers that are not that satisfied will be looking for options as to where they should go next. And it's the same reason why the willingness of recommend their main bank brand is so low, because look, I don't know what will happen next. Why should I be recommending my bank to somebody? If something should happen, would that person attack me or would he look for me? So I think there's some skepticism in the industry, which the players in the industry need to actually work on. We need to actually bring back the trust that bank brand have in our market.
Okay, because I was going to ask you what bank managers should do about this, seeing that, well, people are not really keen on banking with you because they're excited about the service deliveries, probably because, well, I don't want to change banks, I don't want to go through the hassle, I'm getting my monies anyways.
So one of the things they should look at is that people will be willing to recommend you, satisfaction will be high, and they will want to continue doing business with you if your service is differentiated. So where your service delivery is not that much different from the competition, then there is nothing extraordinary and there's no reason why I should change. So who is there, who is ensuring that their service is differentiated, will be the winner in the market. So I'm looking for banks that are now ready to, first of all, pick up the voice of the customer on a regular basis, open their activities to ensuring that employees are trained on service delivery, and there's some reward to employees that are delivering top service to the customers. When that happens and the service culture improves, our expectation is that those who took those bold steps, who invest in delivering great service, are likely to win in the marketplace.
What does this say about competitiveness in the banking sector? Because if I should study this, if I'm a bank manager and I should study this, it should tell you that, well, I need to do something extra so that I can get people to ship from their banks, because it looks like, well, customers think the value is the same everywhere.
Absolutely, Darryl. And the point is that the bank products are generally the same. It's either a savings account, a current account. Yes, they may differentiate on pricing a bit, but the pricing differentiation may not be that great to actually make your brand stand out. So one of the things that will make your brand stand out in differentiation is service delivery. So the challenge for our bank managers and heads of units is to ensure that they keep the brand standardized on great service. Okay. And once those services are experienced by the customer, they should be winning in the marketplace. They should be better differentiated than their competition.
And finally, for the segments, let's find out how trading ended on the commodity market. So there's some good news for athletes, and that will come up shortly in the second segment of sports. Time for the interactive segment, and we've been running a poll on whether schools should close or not to be shut down. And you've been participating in that poll. We have 62% for yes and 38% for no. Let's check out the comments. 1.k likes, 486 comments, 177 shares. Just Japheth Festus says we cannot just understand why ministries with small number of persons believed to be sympathizers of NPP will be closed down because of COVID-19, but President Akufo-Addo and the NPP is not ready to close down schools with high number of populations. Frank Techitufo says, as it has been alleged, 55 students, 55, okay, we'll get that comments again. T-Mob says the harm has already been done. Whether they close down the schools now or allow the students to write the examinations, they will increase community spread anytime they go home. Take a look at this simple analogy. A student who probably had contracted this disease at home, had not reported to school, might only be spreading it in his or her community. Now, the same student, upon reporting to school, could infect as many students as possible. Now, these infected students, upon returning to their communities, will increase the number of community cases tremendously. I state once again that the harm has already been done. And a lot of your comments there. Nanayao says, but does the COVID only exist in schools? Then there should be total lockdown in the whole country. And Fifi Roxon says, did you close your outfit when some of your workers tested positive for COVID-19? Those people were isolated and treated. All right, so so we have yes from Jamal. Nash Osti says yes and yes. Kingsford says no. Atanga Michael says yes. Mo Edward says yes. And those are your comments on that. And that's how we wrap up for the bulletin tonight. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Many thanks for watching. And on behalf of the rest of your team, enjoy the weekend.